The bike weighs in at 1,100 pounds, and I'm guessing the engine's probably 700 of it, maybe 800. It's pretty heavy. It's probably heavier than a small block Chevy. It's probably closer to a big block Chevy. It does seem to carry its weight low, so when I'm moving around and driving it, it doesn't feel top heavy. It feels real stable. It is a gas hog. I think they aren't efficient engines like the modern engine. It probably gets 10 miles per gallon. I have not laid it down, knock on wood. I hope not to, but I can pick up my Harley, but I don't think I can pick this one up. So if it falls over, I call a tow truck. My name is Nick DiBenedetto, and this is my 1940 Ford Flathead V8 motorcycle that I finished, didn't start, but I bought it from a friend of a friend who passed on, and he had started it in the 70s, I believe, and I ended up with it in 2007, and I've had it running for about seven years now, and it's been real good to me. It started off as a one-speed. It still is a one-speed. It has a centrifugal racing clutch and one gear, which is about like a second gear. So it'll cruise at 65. That's about the fastest I'd want to go on it. And then yet it's a low enough second gear that I can take off from a start without too much trouble. The motor is a 1940 Ford. And it's, I think it is 292 cubic inches, and the horsepower, I think stock was around 100 or 98 or something, so it might be 110 or 120 in this version with the compression and the carburetors. And originally it came with a single carburetor. This one has a 3 carburetor manifold. Carburetors are Strongberg 97s, original carburetors. The center carburetor is not operational, as 3 is almost too much for a street motor. Flathead motor this year has 2 water pumps, and each side of the motor is totally separate in cooling. The water coolant comes up and runs back to the radiator in the rear saddlebags. And it seems to work good. I don't have any heating problems anymore that I've enlarged the fans. Two separate cooling systems for each half of the motor. So one radiator takes care of the one side, and the other side takes care of the other. So you basically, even though each one is kind of small, if you add the 2 together, it's pretty close to what maybe a car would have. And there hasn't been an issue with heat. Everything seems to work nicely. The frame on the bike is basically just front end bolted on the front of the engine and the rear end bolted to the rear of the engine. There's no frame between the front and the rear. The engine is a structural member that basically holds everything together. Front end is a Harley. I bought that at the swap meet along with the fenders and the saddlebags. The brakes are a performance machine and dual caliper. Work very well in stopping. The motor has its water pumps, each one on each side, left and right. They're right here. Water comes down, comes in and goes through the block. This is the distributor, originally mounted in this location. This one happens to be a dual coil high performance distributor. And the alternator mounted up here, it's a car alternator that was needed to power those fans. This is the fuel tank. It's a Yamaha, came with the original Yamaha shaft drive, and it holds about 5 gallons. In front of that is the battery, and down lower is the gearbox and centrifugal clutch. It's bolted to the back of the engine, and it moves the the drive line to the side where the shaft comes in to the left side of the wheel. And that's it's just a one-speed, one-gear operation with a racing centrifugal clutch. And it's an automotive clutch like a disc, just like an automotive, except for springs. It uses weights to engage the disc to the flywheel. The rear part of the bike, what you can see is Harley. These are Harley saddlebags, Harley fender. Below it, the suspension and the shaft drive is a 1980s vintage Yamaha motorcycle. So it does run the shaft up to the gearbox, and from the gearbox it moves over into the clutch, and then from the clutch into the engine. It's very simple, and it works well. The handlebars were custom made to bring the grips in position, and the seat position and the handlebars, they're longer than a stock motorcycle handlebars because of the length of the engine. And it basically was modified. They were originally stock bars that were cut, and these extensions made and then re-chromed, and it's quite comfortable, and the length of them makes it easy to steer. And I can sit here all day if I have to, I guess, and ride.